Hello, everybody. This is Robin Leslie with OnlyTheInspired.com doing day 6 of our OnlyTheInspired.com Coach Summit, the value of coaching. So I'm super excited you guys are here today. Make sure when you get here, put your name in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from and get engaged a little bit. So I encourage you, if you're here, watching, go ahead and start a watch party because that just spreads the love all over the internet and basically invites other people to watch this. And so today we're actually have a little bit of a short day, so that's good. We've had a couple long days, so today is going to be a little bit shorter. And then I have a fun thing at the end that I want to do. I've never tried the little rooms in the group, so at the end of this interview, day 6, then I'm going to invite you to go into a room and we'll have a live face-to-face chat, and hopefully Jim can be there. I'm not sure. He's a busy boy right now. But so yes, please start a watch party. Invite your friends to see this. Get involved in the chat. Let's see. We have a couple comments. Greetings from Boston and happy day 6. Yay. So at the top of this live, there's a little StreamYard link and it'll give you permission to actually show your name. And most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But I am super excited that you guys are here. Yay. And so I am going to bring up our first coach. And I am super excited about Jim's interview. I just rewatched it again this morning. And what a man with just incredible values and heart. And I am so excited for you to hear his story. He's been through the ugly and he has overcame and is doing what just lights him up. And his whole goal is to help 1 million families get fully funded. And so I can't wait for this interview. So I'm going to bring up Jim. Hi, Jim.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing. What's going on with you?
Just working it out, impacting people, influencing people for the greater good of the humanity.
Yay. So Jim is a leadership coach. And so he helps you become the leader that you need to be in whatever you're doing. And I can't wait to hear his story. Do you want to share anything before we play the interview?
No, I think the thing is that whatever you're doing, stop for a few minutes and, jump in and be present. Because when you listen to interviews or when you're listening to anything, if you're not present, you won't gain not only what you need to gain, but you won't gain the heart or the spirit behind it. So just take some time, soak it in, ask questions, because I would love to be able to engage you in a further conversation.
Absolutely. And so we will, just to let you know how how everything's going to go. So I'm going to play the interview that we did. When did we do this? We actually, this one was pretty recent. So July 24th is when we recorded the interview. So we're going to play that. And then I'm going to bring Jim back on and we're going to open it up to questions. And so make sure you put questions in the chat as you're going. Again, start a watch party and share the love. And we're going to get started. And so hold on and we'll be back. The sound on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, mute yourself. Hello, everybody. This is Robin Leslie with OnlyTheInspired.com doing another amazing coach interview. Today, I have Jim Burgoon with me, so I can't wait to get into his story and see how he can help you. So in a couple of minutes, describe who you are and how you help people.
Not awesome. So want to say hello, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out with us. So my name is Jim Burgoon. My brand is called The Everyday Leader. And I have been a leadership and personal development guy for probably about 15 to 20 years now. I have a master's degree in leadership and I'm a John Maxwell team guy. I have a lot of experience and I've done multitude of things, whether it be a classroom teacher to building organizations to a church pastor to several other things. So being in the leadership realm, I've been around the block a little bit. So now I take that and that personal development and I help leaders break through limitations. I help them overcome their fears and their things in their mind that holds them back, and so that they can get started and grow their businesses, because the hardest thing to do is get started and then get through that initial phase. So I come in because I'm a starter. I get in with my people, my tribe, and I say, hey, listen, here's what we need to do, and we get started. And I'm going to tell you, everyone I've started with and the methods that I use with them have skyrocketed and become rock stars. And I can give you tons of examples as we go through our talk together. But that's kind of me in a nutshell. I mean, I'm a family man. I have 2 little girls and a wife, and I'm happy. I'm great. I'm very fun to be around. So
Awesome. Glad to have you here. And, getting started is the hardest part. It's the scariest part. And if you can have somebody walk you through that whole process, that is super helpful. So how did you get started in this business? Was it one event or was it a series of events that happened?
Yeah, it was kind of a series of events. So it was interesting. Like, I was a serial entrepreneur since I was probably about 6, right? So I was 6, 7 years old. I had started a company of my own. I mean, the company was Bee Busters because it was 1984. I loved Ghostbusters and I was allergic to bees. So we started this company where we had sashes and boxes and chemicals and everything because we were going to go in the neighborhood and kill all the bees, and we were going to get paid for it. And some people probably thought we were cute kids and paid us, whatever. But that was my first one. And then 2 years later, I got into another business where I was selling soft pretzels. I'm from Philadelphia. There was a pretzel factory. I bought $10 of pretzels that I bummed off my mom the money. And then I was like, let's go sell them. And I made $30 or $40 a week doing that at like trouble spots, some abandonment, some abuse. And then I remember where everything stopped was when my mom, my grandma, who meant well, because you know how people mean well, but they say really mean things. I was a musician too. So I was a great singer and I was a trumpet player. I was like, yeah, we're going to do something with this. And I wanted to be a music teacher, musician, that kind of sense. And my mom and my grandma looked at me and they were like, you have no talent. I was like, it broke me. And I don't know if you or any of your listeners has ever experienced this, that moment when you're so excited, when you're so passionate about starting businesses and living dreams and doing the things you love, and then somebody who's so close to you says, well, you have no talent, or you have something, or whatever they may have said to you, and you sit back and you're like, man, do you believe them or not? And when you're young, you're impressionable. And I had already been through abuse and abandonment and all these other nasty little things. And then when that was said, it was like I was hit by a train. And I stopped. And here's what the problem with that was every time I failed, it just reinforced what they said. So that thing got deeper and deeper and deeper. And so I went to college, I joined the military, I did a lot of things just to get beyond what was said to me. But it took me, and then, well, actually in that story, I got out, met my wife in the military. We gave our lives to Jesus, ended up starting a church, Port St. Lucie. Did that for a little while, about probably 15 years, if you call that a little while. And in the midst of that, there's always been this nag to get back to what I was really called to do, which was entrepreneurship. And it was only in the last 5 years, maybe 6, where I finally broke through. because I had started studying leadership. I mean, if I'm growing an organization, got to study how to deal with people. So I was like, all right. And I found that I'm actually naturally gifted with people. I'm a natural communicator, and I'm naturally gifted with people. So I just started pouring into that. And so we had a lot of success. But I realized that my heart is in entrepreneurship. My heart is to do this thing and create and just be out there and impact people like this. So about 5 years ago, we had stepped down and walked away from a church we started, from other things that we had started. And I started as an entrepreneur, and there was a little bit of a challenge during that time. But ultimately, I started finding my passion again, because I was like, oh my gosh, I love doing this. Now, I failed for the last 3.5, 4 years. Don't get me wrong, but the mindset was different. I had spent 15 years working through mindset. My wife, the reason I had to go full entrepreneur for a while, and then I had to step back to a job and then I stepped out and stepped back for a few times. My wife is diagnosed with multiple mental illnesses, was hospitalized, so I had to stay home. What do? Let's go back to the entrepreneurship that we did. But by that time, I had gone through so much healing. I've gone through so much internal work. I've gone through so much personal development that my mindset was different. And I'm like, I can do this. This is what I was born to do. And so here we are in this series of events that happened to pull me to this moment where I'm all about getting you broken through to what you were meant to do, that purpose, that passion inside of you to just come out of you so we can break that fear and break through. That's really where we're at now.
Great. And yeah, you never know where life is going to lead you. And that's awesome that it led you right back to where you were, where you just loved it when you were little.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny though? Like life always leads us back to what we were starting in the first place.
A long, treacherous journey sometimes. It's like, really? Couldn't I have skipped all that? But then, we needed those experiences. You needed to learn all the different aspects before you could be as effective as you are now.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
So describe your ultimate vision for your business.
My ultimate vision for my business?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the ultimate vision for my life is I want to transform 1 million families, the financial landscape of 1 million families, because as a believer, and I don't expect anybody else I work with to be a Christian or not, but as a believer, I believe that if there are people out there who are fully funded, that they can literally transform the entire world. I mean, you can fully fund churches, fully fund your organizations. And, my wife and I have hearts for those that are in sex trafficking, those that are orphans, churches to be planted. People are all around the world are hungry. We want to make as much money as we can to help those. So we want to help others and bring them on the journey, because I know if somebody can go from, broke mindset, barely any money in their account, to fully funded, man, other people will start becoming naturally generous, because the number one excuse I hear, I would give to that, but I don't have any money to, or if I wasn't broke and if I didn't have to eat, I'd give to that. Well, if I'm out there, my mission in life, my vision is to help change that, to go, I can't do this, to where do I sign the check? Because there's so many people out there that need help. And I just really believe in humanity, to the point I think there are a lot of people, not everybody are generous. And if they had the means, they would do it. So we're going to transition 1 million families, and it has to be families because this is family units, to be fully funded so that they can fully fund the dreams on their hearts that God has given them, the dream on their heart that's really special to them, so that the world can be a better place. That's really what our vision is about.
I love it. Yay. Yeah. And I was one of those who was always broke. I wish I could. I wish I could. I wish I could. It hurts me not to give. And so when I came up with this idea of Only the Inspired, a big part of that is not only from me, but the collaboration of all these members. The donation part to charities is built into my vision. It's built into my business. And because, and it's such a bigger impact than what I could do on my own, just the collaboration of all those people, then you can make the worldwide changes. You could bring fresh water. You could help the orphanages. That it breaks my heart, because those kids never chose that. they
Right.
did the foster kids. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I love that. That's
Yeah, they absolutely. And you know what, Robin, it has to be bigger than us, because think about this. If I had $1 billion, I can do a lot of good in the world,
beautiful.
right? But I'm going to die. I'm 42. I may have 50 years left. Maybe. I'm thinking 97, so maybe I have 57 years left, right? But even in that, when I die, my money goes to other people and I go on to what I believe is heaven. But the deal is, but if I change and help 1 million families become fully funded, the legacy that's created never dies.
Oh, for sure.
And if your vision stops with you, your vision isn't big enough.
I agree. I agree. I love the way you think. So, what beliefs do you have that set you apart from your competition? And I'm a collaboration, not competition girl.
Mhm.
But from all the other coaches out there that help people find their vision and to
Mhm.
start their business, what beliefs do you have that kind of sets you apart?
Well, I mean, there's a couple that we've already kind of talked about some of that. I do have a core biblical belief system. I think that's part of it because my belief drives me. It's what I live for. It's what, especially the life I came from to be where I'm at in that. I think other things that drive me that I think separates me from a lot of people out there, which really breaks my heart, because I don't believe in competition either. Because if I think you're better at something, I'm going to give somebody to you as a referral, because I don't know it all, but I'm good at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give referrals. So here's, I think, the challenge. What I say what separates me is when I commit to a client, when I commit to a person, I give 120,000% to them. Like, we're going to do this. Like, I don't stop at, well, you only paid me so much, so this is all you get. No, I'm literally like, there's a mission inside of you. Here's my price. If you can pay it, great. Let's do this thing. If you can't, then come back when you can. But when you get me and you hire me, you get all of me. And I think that's really what separates me, because I just believe in humanity and I believe in people. And I love people so much that, like, if I say I love you, it's a commitment. I'm not going to give up on you. If you're not going to do the work, then yeah, I'm going to fire you as a client. If you don't want to do the work, we're done. I don't want to work with anybody who doesn't want to work. But the bottom line is, like, you get me, right? Even in my beta group, like, I just started a beta group. Those guys, I'm going live all the time. I'm answering their questions live. I'm not afraid of somebody leaving because they got too much value, because I just believe that if they get a lot of value, they'll stay with you until they don't need you. My job is not to make sheep that are going to follow me all around the world. My job is to help you grow to a place where you don't need me
I like that. That's awesome. So, what was the hardest thing to overcome when starting your business?
Wow, that's a good question. Wow, that's a really good question. So I think some of the hardest things for me came down to perfectionism, because I had been through a lot, and part of that perfectionism brought fear. What do people say about me? What about the rejection? Because that's what I had lived. I had lived that my dad walked out on me when I was 4. I had lived that I watched my grandfather choke to death when I was 10. I lived through a lot of things. And so when I'm finally at this place, like, when I was a kid, there was no fear. Hey, listen, let's just do it. But then I was older and I was like, oh my gosh, what if they don't like me? Because I went through a period of my time where I was a people pleaser. And I had to kill that thing, because I'm not going to be a people pleaser. I'm a people empowerer. And I'm not going to please people, because a lot of things I say you're not going to like, but it's truth to grow you. So when I started this, a lot of times it was, I'm just afraid of what people would think of me. I'm afraid that everybody's going to not do this, or that I'm an imposter, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But there came a point where, after all those years of working through that stuff, and I just had to punch fear in the face and throat chop perfection and just do it. And I found that, like, here I am. I'm launching things that I've been trying to launch for a while, and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. What happens if it fails? Great, it failed. I don't believe in so much failure. It's either you're going to do it successfully or you're going to learn. There's no, and the only way you truly fail is if you give up and you don't do. So I just jumped all in. I jumped both feet, everything in. because I had to make the decision. If this is truly what I wanted to do, then this is what I've got to do. And it was the hardest thing in those beginning years, getting back out to do this.
Yeah. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's having the fear and doing it anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And, so it's interesting. So there's a certain amount of fear to start a business, but not, you had enough bravery to join the service, which I do not.
Right.
And so it's interesting. One could actually kill you, but sometimes the one that we actually are most afraid of won't actually kill us. It's just in our own head. It's our own limitations.
So, and it really is. Now, even my joining the military, there's a story behind everything, right? And I'll be honest with you, I had more guns pointed at me in my old neighborhood than I did in the military. I'm from the inner city of Philadelphia. I've had bullets flying down the street at some points. That has happened. I remember I was in school, I was in high school, and it was a bus ride down to Center City, and we were sitting there, and there were two people fighting, and guy pulls out a nickel-plated .45 and points it right in my face. I'm like, yo, I wasn't in your fight, dude. And just a lot of things like that. But I'm going to tell you this is when the pain is so great to stay the same, you change. Because you want to go to the place of least resistance, the least pain. Me staying where I was killing me. I didn't get mugged like that. I did have guns pointed at me, but that's struggles. I fought, growing up, I fist fought a lot of people. That's struggles. And I realized that if I stayed, I would never be who I was meant to be. And I figured this out at 17 years old. And I had a very tumultuous relationship with my mother. I was sick and tired of everything, sick and tired of everybody. And I saw an opportunity to join the Coast Guard. And I was like, yeah, just sign me up. I don't even care what it is. Just sign me up. And I ended up, I'm going to tell you, it was the best decision in my life because I ran from pain to try to find pleasure, which is what people do. But inadvertently, I wasn't a military guy. I'm a free spirit. But going there, my first 2 years I was on a ship, I traveled the world for free. I've stepped probably on 15, 20 continents, not continents, countries. And I've been on probably 5 of the 7 continents. 5 of the 7 I think I've been on. So, I've traveled the world doing this. And in the military is where I met my wife. So it's like a ripple effect of things. I went because this was my way out. I had no money. I had no life. I was working a dead-end job. I was 18 going to college. Everything was falling apart. Here's an opportunity. Great. They'll pay me to go travel. Great. Learn a job. Great. But I met my wife, who we've been together 20 years now, and I got to travel the world. So, I didn't know that going in, but I knew that as I was going. So that's what it was. I was running from pain. And then when you become an entrepreneur, now you're running into pain.
Leaning into it.
rolling into it. And I think there's the biggest challenge is because now we're running into pain, but this is where mindset training comes in because you got to frame it correctly. And I found that the entrepreneurial pain is a pain that I enjoy and invigorates me with the challenge. I didn't think that was going to happen. And I was like, oh, this is great. Some days I'm like, I haven't made a sale in a month. This sucks. But then all of a sudden you're like, man, this is great. And then you're like, oh my gosh, I was built for this. And I realized that through everything I've been through. But I would have never known that unless I tried.
Exactly.
So you got to jump out. Yeah.
You do. Tony Robbins says people will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure.
Yep.
So, yep.
100%. Yep.
So this next question, I ask everybody, I think it's really important. Some people have it, some people don't. So do you have the support network of friends and family encouraging you to do this, to become a coach? Or is this something you felt compelled to do and you're doing it no matter what?
Kind of both. Kind of both. And yeah, I may be the odd duck here because you usually get one or the other, but I kind of have both.
Yeah, a lot of people have both.
Yeah. So, oh, well, that's good. See, I don't think that's the question I've ever breached with people, because one of the things I teach in leadership is the law of the inner circle, which is John Maxwell's law. It says you are the sum of the 5 people you put around you. So I've been very intentional about who is in that group, because I want to grow to a place where they are. So there's very intentional people around me that are encouragers, that are pushing me, that are my coaches and things like that. And then I do have some friends that I'm very intentional. If you're like in that inner circle of friends, you're there for a reason. But then I've got people on the outside. Even my mom at some point was like, you need to quit. I was like, no, because I'm not doing this for you. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this for me. And because I'm doing this for me, everybody's going to be blessed by it, who work with me, who have ripple effects on who I bless, who blesses who. And I think it's a really big place of both. Like, I'm going to do this, whether I remove the quit option. I'll say it that way. But then I have my small group of people that I place around me intentionally that says, these are my group. This is the people who encourage me, who call me out on stuff. And these are the people who are going to force me to grow.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your favorite thing about your business?
Working with people. That's not even like, I don't even need to think like hard on that, because I don't. What my least favorite is working behind the scenes, is getting the funnels built and all the back end built. My favorite thing is having great conversations like this with you, and getting in front of people and speaking in front of people and just getting energetic and having fun. And, even in the times where I'm doing one-on-one coaching or group coaching, it's that interaction with people that just really drives me.
Yeah, I love people. I crave being around people, and sometimes you struggle, especially with COVID, where you're not able to go out and you're in Florida, which is a hot zone right now.
Oh yeah, we're getting like 15,000 a day, 12,000 a day, something like that. And it stinks because I want to be around people. Like, I want to hug. I'm a hugger. I even have a shirt that I got made. It says free hugs on it. Like, I can't. So I hug my children extra.
Yeah. Well, and FYI, people, his wife just got over COVID. So he's experienced that right in his household, which is tough, super tough.
Yeah, it is. It was when life puts your life on pause and you can't do anything but manage and clean and do those things. You have to put the business on pause and everything else in life on pause, because it's not a fun thing.
No. So what inspires you? What are you passionate about? And it doesn't have to be business.
Oh, man. So what inspires me? I mean, there are a few things that really inspire me. And first and foremost is my faith. The inspiration I get from the stories of overcoming and how God just really is involved in people's lives nowadays. And just understanding that I'm part of something bigger. I mean, that drives me. That literally wakes me up in the morning, and I'm in my Bible or I'm praying for people. And I've got people who I don't coach that'll call me and start saying, hey, can you pray for me? And it's stuff like that just means you're making a bigger impact than you think. When people are just out of the blue calling you, because now people know you, and I'm just going to pray with them. And I don't have an agenda. I hope they become clients, but if they never do, that's fine. I'm still going to give that love and attention to people. And that seriously inspires me. I think the other thing that really inspires me is my wife. My wife, with the fact that she is where she is in life. She's a beautiful lady, probably one of the best hearts, a golden heart that you've ever met. But she's also struggling because she was diagnosed with 5 different mental illnesses. And so, but she gets up and she tries her hardest, and some days she'll be able to clean and help and be present. And then she'll go weeks where she can't get off the couch because she's so depressed, So it's like, she inspires me because it's people like that who are trying to push further and further and further in their lives, whether it be try to business, try to mother, and all those things, while fighting things that you and I will never see or maybe not understand.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the true warriors in this life that get up in spite of their disabilities and still do what's needed. So she inspires me, and my kids are right behind that with that as well.
Awesome. Well, and that goes into my next question. Who inspires you?
Yep.
So
absolutely. It's all about people.
Yes. So my last question, big question. So
Cool.
if you could leave one tip or golden nugget for the people listening, and it was the only thing you could tell them and your only chance to say it, what would that be?
Okay, so if it was my only chance to say it and my only chance to do this, I think I would say this. And it sounds so simple. It sounds almost rudimentary, and it's like, why? If you think about it though, it's just get started. Get started. And the thought behind that is, if you never start, you'll never make an impact. And a lot of people are sitting on the fence, and it could be they have a business and they just they're on the fence about starting a new venture, or on the fence about pivoting, or on the fence about doing whatever, maybe starting a podcast, writing a book, or starting a YouTube. Just get started. Punch fear in the face, karate chop, perfection in the throat, and just get started. That's those two words. Write them on your wall. Get started. That's it.
Yeah. And then you won't have regrets later. And it
Right.
might not be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but at least you can say, I did it. I tried.
Absolutely.
I started it. Yeah. Instead of, I wish I would have.
Well, absolutely. And I think I'll leave with this thought too, is it will never be perfect. If you launch a 100% perfect product, then you're lying to yourself, because there's no room for growth. So you start with imperfections and you grow from there. So what? If you have a failed product, great, change it. Find the right audience. Just get started.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything else you want to share before we talk about your giveaway?
I think if for you who are watching this, I just would say this. There's been a lot of times in your life where you've probably faced discouragement, and you've probably wanted to give up. Matter of fact, you may be sitting there right now and be like, I just don't know how to get there any further. I don't know. You're just in that place where I just want to quit. So what I want to tell you is, don't. And when you get to the place where you want to quit, think about that person on the other side of your venture, on the other side of your business, that person's life is going to be changed because you showed up. Think about that person when you want to quit. Yeah, it's perfectly fine to pivot. It's perfectly fine to change things. But always keep that one person, not the masses, that one person on the other side of you showing up, that's life is going to be changed because you were there.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the coaches, that is their goal, just to help one person.
That's it.
And some of them it's millions, some of it's the world.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's still, whether it's one person that is making an impact, that's contribution, that is, leaving the world a better place.
Yep.
Because you did it. I love that. So you are gonna give away, so is this a ebook? Is it a PDF? What is it? The Winning Mindset.
Well, ebook, PDF, they're generally the same thing. I'm just going to call it a field guide to the winning entrepreneur, the winner's mindset. And it's really what it is 15 tactics and thought processes that we have to endure, not endure, but have to develop in order to be winners. I mean, that's when you really think about it. Again, everything comes down to mindset. You can Google tactics all day long. You can sit out there and Google could be your best friend and hire a coach and say, give me tactics, but that doesn't make you a winner. What makes you a winner is how you think about a thing. When I hire a coach, I don't hire them for, hey, tell me what you did so I can reproduce it. No, how did you think about this thing so that I can start to think the processes and my mindset come to a higher level? Because when I start thinking differently, I start winning more. So I put together this little freebie that gives 15 things in there about how to be a winner in that mindset. And so I think it's going to bless a lot of people, because a lot of people feel defeated. A lot of people feel like they can't win. Well, here we go. It's not a question that you can't, it's a question that you can. But here are some tips and tactics that you're going to be able to do in order to win.
I love that. So you're going to go to www.frompassiontosuccess.com. Great URL, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's www.frompassiontosuccess.com. And I always spell that just in case.
Perfect.
And I love your giveaway. I think that's helpful. And, and just to find out, all right, I'm missing number 2, 4, and 8. So how can I work on that? And I love that you give that as a guide. I think that's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So for everybody watching, please make sure that you share the video. There's lots of wisdom, and he's obviously got a heart of gold, and it's wonderful. So anybody that needs to hear this message, or they feel like they need to bring up their leadership, or start their business, or stop making excuses because they're scared, Jim might be your guy. So share the video, and just spread the love. And this whole summit's all about the value of coaching, and obviously we could see the value of Jim's coaching, and I don't doubt for a second that he's gonna affect 1 million households in his lifetime. So I love that you're doing that. So
Appreciate that very much.
Thank you very much for being here.
Oh, I loved having this conversation. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, we will see you later, guys. All right. Okay. How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing good. I enjoyed hearing that again. I took some notes on my own self there for a second. I was like, oh man, I said that. That's cool. And just happy to engage, happy to have the conversation, happy to answer any questions and drop whatever value that
absolutely
we can in the little time we have left.
So Joyce says, she's late on lunch break. Gotcha. Lee says she's a hugger too. Nice. Joyce said, after my interview, my goddaughter said it helped her and gave her hope. Even these interviews can reach people who need it. Absolutely. And you have such a great message. She also said, great advice. Get started. You don't have to be great to get started, but you do have to start if you're going to be great. Love it. Awesome. And so, so what was it like listening to your interview? Because you're in the process of actually developing a podcast where you're interviewing others. So it's kind of interesting to be on the other foot.
Yeah, it is. It was nice. But you know what? I've been a speaker for about 15 plus years. And early in my speaking career, my mentor, my spiritual father, actually said to me, he said, great speakers listen to themselves. So that way they learn how to get better. They learn where their trouble spots are. They learn where the highs and the lows. So it's not the first time I've listened to myself. So it was just nice and refreshing to hear it again. Because I even in the midst of that, I was like, okay, I could have said that a little different, or and I start dissecting it on how to be better, because I'm always trying to be better.
Constant, never-ending improvement. So if anybody has any questions for Jim, put them in the chat. So I'm curious. So type in the chat, what are some of the limiting beliefs that you have that have made you, or that have prevented you from taking action? We have a leadership coach right here, and, he has had to break through his own fear. And sometimes those limiting beliefs, like he got when he was a little kid, stopped him for years. And so I'm just curious, what's some of that self-talk that you guys have that has prevented you from taking action, or at least prevented you from a certain amount of time? And yeah, just like all of the coaches, it's the imposter feeling, coming outside the box when you're doing something different than you've always done. I dealt with that for, lots of time in my life. And, I want to get started. And then, it's like, And even a lot of time, this is a first for me actually to come out of the closet. A lot of people, I didn't tell I was a coach until just the last couple months. And so this is kind of new for me. And so
Wow.
probably my whole Facebook group is going, what? When did she start this? But you have to do it. And it's that drive, just like you had that entrepreneurial drive for your whole life. And it wasn't going to shut up. And that was the same thing for me. It wasn't going to shut up. I couldn't shut up that voice. And I had to, if you don't go with that desire, then you're going to forever be frustrated. So.
Absolutely. And that's going to be some of the top fears, is that imposter, that I get afraid. So I'm not going to share with what I do, because if they found out I wasn't any good, or maybe I'll try to be more than I am. And it's stupid. When you really think about it, you think back on it, it's so stupid, the excuses we use. We call them reasons, but they're really excuses hidden behind logic. And it's because we're scared to death to be great.
We want to be great. We are. But it's scary. What if I can't handle it? What if I fall on my face in front of everybody?
Yep, absolutely. And the number one thing that people say to me when we talk about lies and we deal with mindset is, I don't feel like I'm enough. And then I ask them a question, and this is the one question, and I'll give this to you guys and for your viewers to ask this question. What is enough? Can you define what enough looks like for me? Because if you can't define something that's subjective, when you hit it, you'll never know. So if you tell me I'm never enough, I'm not going to be enough, what is enough? Define that. But the problem is it's so subjective that you can't truly define it, because you don't know. So listen to this, you're hitting an unreachable goal with unmanageable expectations, right? So you're always in a losing way, because you've not changed the expectations to say, this is what I need to feel like I'm a winner. If I'm going to win, this is my bottom line. No, we just use, like generalizations and say, I'm not enough. Well, no, you are enough, but you just got to know where your line is.
And sometimes that could be a certification. Like you went through the John Maxwell, and there's been other coaches like Veronica Shire. She said, well, I don't have a certification, or I think it was somebody else. It's like, well, I don't have my license, or I'm not certified, so I'm not going to accept any money. That does not mean you don't have wisdom. Tony Robbins doesn't have any certifications.
Right.
And what he has created, the 6 human needs psychology, now is actually continuing education for therapists. And so even though he didn't have a certification, now people actually can get certified in his trainings. And I went through the Robbins Madonnas training. But so, yeah, it is good to know what that, okay, well, when I reach this point, well, what point is that? When are you going to feel like you're enough?
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you, people don't pay for certifications. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't even care. I mean, it's good for credibility. If you want high ticket people, then you're going to get certifications. But really what people want is they want a result. If you have the result and you're able to get it for them, people will pay you for it. So and I struggle with that too. I don't want to take money, but you know what? Take the value, take the money, because if I have skin in the game and I pay you for something, you're going to work harder, you're going to work better, and you've got a measurable result you can work towards. And you just keep doing that over and over. And when you get enough results, you raise your prices. If you feel like you need a certification, go get a certification. But people pay for results. They don't look for your resume. They want to know, did you get the result? Are you getting others the result?
Do you understand me? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Do you know how to get out of it? And so you talked about in the beginning of the video that you had lots of testimonials. I'd love to hear a story or two of your favorite clients where, they came in with that crappy mindset and then where they're at today. If you could share some of those, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to make a post. I told her today I'm going to make a post about her. One of my clients, she is a real estate agent. And when she came to me, I think we started working in May. Yeah, I think it was May. So I've only been working with her a short time. So from January to May, she sold like only 4 houses, maybe 5, but 4 I think was the number, right? We worked together about a month. We worked through May and we worked into June. Just dealing mindset, dealing with limitations, dealing with stuff, hardcore dealing with stuff. Do you know in July, her company just posted that not only is she the, I don't know what they call them, employee of the month is what regular things, but I think they call it the agent of the month. So she's not only the agent of the month, but she was ranked top agent for selling 2.3 million homes in one single month of July.
Dollars.
What, $2.3 million of homes in July. She didn't even barely sell like 3 or 4 homes when I started working with her. She put 10 under contract in the 2 months that I was working with her, but most of those, like I think 99% of that was in July. And she became the number 1 producing person in her company.
Wow.
And now she's just going to have to keep doing this. I mean, this is the things that she's going to keep doing. But it's being a high performer, but you got to remove limitations, and that just happened. And I'm actually going to make a post about her today because I love bragging on people. Another client of mine, it's another favorite that I work with. Last year we started working together, and when we started working together, he was in a business, a tutoring business, making like $8-9 an hour, and trying to be a relationship coach. This guy is not a relationship coach. We started working together again, mindset, alignment, leadership, things like that. Within 2 months, he left doing the tutorial stuff, got a job as a very, very prominent copywriter in a very multi-million-dollar company. So he went from like $15 an hour to almost 6 figures doing that. Now
Wow.
he's opening up his own business in conjunction with that in order to create his own other stream of income. And the fact that he's a brilliant copywriter and just the way he puts things together. So he needs to do that to help more people. But now he's doing more and more. But that was like in 2 months, like of just getting in there. Let's remove limiting beliefs. Let's give you the permission to actually do what's on your heart. Like, I don't have to tell people what they want to do. They already know. They just sometimes need permission and accountability. And then we go forward.
That's awesome. Yay. And I'm curious why he wanted to be a relationship coach if that was not his thing.
Because he actually started out, like, he has a long distance relationship. Like, he married somebody from England. He's from Boston, well, outside of Boston, up in that area. And so he's like, well, we lasted 2 years long distance. So we think we have a good bit of this. We can help these people. And I sat there one day and listen, I just talk truth, and I let him try it for a couple weeks. And then I just pulled him aside on one of our coaching calls. And I was like, this isn't you. You need to do something else. And we just started talking, and I said, what are you passionate about? And he wound up, he has like a master's degree in writing, but at least a bachelor's, if not a master's. And I'm sitting here like, dude, you're an amazing writer. Like, what are you doing with that? He's like, well, I'd love to be a copywriter. I said, why are you doing relationship coaching if you are skilled at writing? Like, everybody wants that.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. And, I don't care what level of business are. Like, he literally wrote a landing page that got one company $42,000 in 12 hours or something like that. He's a top producing copywriter. But he wanted to be a relation coach. And I was like, dude. So we just had real talk. We had a courageous conversation is what I call them. So we had a courageous conversation and we just had him really face what he wants, what he was trying to do, because what he was trying to do was fear. And it just started going uphill from like gaining speed, gaining momentum. It wasn't an uphill battle. Just like, boom, skyrocketed up. And he's doing great now.
Fantastic. Yay. That's awesome. Yeah. It's funny how sometimes we might try something. It's like, no, that's not me, but that's okay. And I've done that lots of times, and you never know until you try. And I love that you can have those honest conversations and say, yeah, maybe it's not your thing or whatever. So awesome. Awesome. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
I mean, I think between our little bit of conversation here and then watching the interview, I think you guys have got a lot of stuff to really mull over, think about. I'm happy to continue any conversation, and then definitely go pick up the winner's mindset off the website.
Absolutely. Yes, I think that'll be helpful for a lot of people, including me. So I struggle with the leadership thing once in a while. I'm more of a visionary than a leader.
See, I think that's funny because the way you say that, because if I can just say this real quick, I'm a visionary type. I'm a visionary, right? But that doesn't mean they're separate. Matter of fact, many of your leaders are visionaries. There are two type of leaders. You got the visionary leader type and the integrators. But both are leaders. You are a leader, Robin. You're leading this. Look at what you're building. Look at what you're doing. Every great leader has a great vision. And it's an amazing thing. So being able to put on a multi-conglomerate like summit that you're doing with dozens and dozens of coaches from all over the world coming together to do this. I mean, and then you're going to conjunction that with the the Inspired website, which is like amazing. That is huge. And the fact that you can envision that, gather people around that vision, and then get that vision into life, here we are. That's leadership. Leadership at its core is what you're doing right now. And they're not exclusively apart. It's together. And that's exactly what you're doing right now.
I appreciate that. Well, and I'm all about honesty and being open. And the part about the leadership part is how to come across. And because I'm a pretty timid person, super friendly, and my goal is to never offend anybody. And so sometimes you have to have that honesty, in coaching one-on-one, I'm good. And when it's me in front of a whole bunch of people trying to guide them and get them motivated, that's honestly where I struggle a little bit, and I'm doing my best, but I'm never going to say I'm perfect. And that's something obviously I'm working on, because this means so much to me, and I'm trying to do my best with getting people engaged, and I struggle with that
job. Hey, listen, we all struggle with certain things, but leadership is just influence. It doesn't mean I lead 1,000 people or I lead one makes me any less or more of a leader. What it means is that if leadership is influence, that means if I can influence one person, I'm leading somebody. And I don't make the comparison. Like, I love being on stages. I love motivating people, but that's my strengths. My wife is a lot like you. She's like, give her one-on-ones. She's cool with it. She could do that forever. Who's making a bigger impact? Neither one of us, because we're making our own impact. And that's what we do, is we just double down on our strengths. We hire out our weaknesses, and we lead where we're gifted. And that's just what we continue to press into.
I love that. I think that's awesome. And I appreciate your perspective, because it does, it makes people think differently. It makes me think differently. And and I'm not trying to put myself down by saying I'm not a leader. But so very cool. I love what you're doing. I can't wait for your podcast to come out. So you're thinking about 2 weeks for that?
It's going to be about 2 weeks. If you follow on my personal profile, I've been launching it. Once you jump on the winner's mindset and get that, you'll actually get emails of when it's being launched. So, I mean, it's coming up the next 2 weeks, and I've got some pretty heavy hitters coming out on that podcast too.
Yay. I'm looking forward to that. Very cool. Well, thank you very much. And so I'm going to, Miss Lindsay's not here today. So I'm going to play her video. It's only about 17 minutes long. And then I want to do something a little bit different and jump into one of the rooms. I've never done a room in a group before. So I encourage you guys to join me in that. So we'll do that after I play Lindsay's interview. And Jim, if you're around and can jump in there, and that way people can ask you questions or anything like that, that'd be great.
Okay, I'll see if I can do it. I've got to run to another thing, but if I'm available, I'll jump into the room with whoever wants to be in there.
Okay.
And that's about 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll be 20, 25 minutes. And just throwing that out there again. So if you missed the interview and you didn't have a chance to ask Jim questions, he is in the group. All of the coaches are in the group, including Lindsay, who can't be here live today. She'll be in the group, so you can connect with her and ask questions, which is awesome. And I love that connection with the coaches.
Absolutely. All right, we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you. All right, bye. Okay, so again, post in the chat. like I said, some of the limiting stories that's holding you back from actually taking action. And so right now I am going to introduce Miss Lindsay, and she is not here, but she has been a soldier for almost 20 years. And she said after having a child is when things kind of got crazy and her schedule got a little unmanageable, and the way that she helped herself and her family was by doing food prep. So she does food prep once a week, and that way everything is planned out and ready for the whole week. And so she actually turned her struggle into not having enough time and trying to scramble and get dinners ready to actually having a system. And now she created a business out of it that could help so many people, including me, because I am not a big fan of shopping or cooking. So I am going to play her video, and make sure you guys pop in the chat, ask any questions. Lindsay won't be here today, but she'll be in the group after her appointment. So I am going to play that video. So hold on. Hello, everybody. This is Robin from OnlyTheInspired.com, and I have an awesome interview today with Miss Lindsay Morrison. For me, I'm one of those that is not a big fan of cooking. For one, I have just a very limited knowledge on recipes, right? So I could cook 5 things really good, and the rest I'm just winging it. And so that's where somebody like Miss Lindsay comes into play. And so we're going to find out a little bit more about her today and a little bit about what she has going on. And I think you're going to be super excited. So Miss Lindsay, in a couple of minutes, describe who you are and how you help people.
Hi there. So I am a very busy mom. I'm full-time military and on the go all the time. I'm very into health and wellness, and I love to cook. I did, however, realize that there aren't enough hours in the day to cook every day of the week. So I learned how to meal prep, and I got really good at it. I cook all my meals for my family on Sundays, and then I put them in the fridge, and they're ready to go. So what I decided to do was turn that into a way to help other people to do the same thing. So I prepare menus for people so that they can save time, stress, and money for their family.
Awesome. And so you got started in that just because of overwhelm, because you're full-time military and got so much going on. So that's how you did it?
Yeah, it was really just kind of led into it with kind of when I went back to work after having my daughter, I was fine when I didn't have a kid, but then when I added a kid to the mix, I lost a lot of time. And working full time with a newborn was just impossible to try to put healthy food on the table. So the only way to do it was kind of do it all at once.
Got you. And so describe your ultimate vision for your business.
Well, because I'm in the military, and something with the military that's very near and dear to my heart is suicide prevention for veterans. So my ultimate goal for the business is to be a way to provide money to donate to causes that actually help with that. But as far as the business itself, I just want to be able to help people to have more time and enjoy dinner and be able to just relax at dinner time like families should, instead of being stressed out.
And that's awesome. So you're not just doing normal meals where you're coming up with recipes. How do you know kind of what people are looking for, or if they have dietary needs? Do you work with any of that?
I do. It's very one-on-one. I have a survey that I give to clients, and I find out what their meat preferences are, what their vegetable preferences are, what their diet is, whether they're kosher, dairy-free, if they have any allergies, foods that they hate, foods that they love. That way I get a better idea of stuff that they normally do, so that I'm not like giving them things that they hate. Like if they don't like Brussels sprouts, I don't want to give them a meal that has Brussels sprouts, because I love Brussels sprouts. So I cook them like 3 times a week. A lot of people don't want that.
Right.
So it's very one-on-one and very catered to each individual person's needs.
Oh, very cool. That is awesome. Yeah, because there's some things I flat won't eat. I will pick it out. But yeah, I love that. And there are a lot of people with allergies. And so you really got to work around that. And sometimes people don't know how to work around that. So that's awesome that you actually provide that and then detail that to what they like and what they're eating. And so is it just dinner plans that you are doing at the moment, or?
As of right now, I'm doing dinner plans, but I'm trying to work in an option for doing, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or, lunch plans, because some people just want to meal prep their lunches for work. So I'm looking into making that an option as well.
Right. Because you don't know who else at home for lunch or breakfast. They might be out at work or whatever. Very cool. And so what's the hardest thing that you have been overcoming to start this business and create this business?
Really, for me, it's been the time. Like I said, I am working full time with the military, so I'm working from home right now. I'm on my computer 8 hours a day with a toddler who doesn't understand that mommy can't play with her. And so just trying to find the time to put everything together. And I've been, putting in some really late hours and really early hours, but it's really just been the time.
Very cool. And thank you very much for being a soldier or being in the service. That's something I wouldn't have the courage to do personally. So what branch are you in?
I'm in the Army. I'm getting ready to hit 20 years in November.
Yay, that's awesome. That's so cool. And I appreciate you so much. We have a free country because of people like you. So what is your favorite thing about your business?
That I'm actually doing something that I really enjoy. Originally, a long time ago, I wanted to actually start a business where I was providing the food for people and actually doing the meal prep. But I found that there's a whole lot of legal stuff that you can run into with that. Like if somebody gets sick, you can get in trouble. And I didn't like that idea. So I kind of just let the idea fall to the wayside. But now I'm still able to do the meal prepping idea and still do something I love. Plus I have a degree in graphic design. So I got to use that to plan out my menus, and I got to play with all that. So I get to do things that I love in the business.
So on top of the recipes, do you do shopping lists or anything for people so they know how much to get? Or
each week they get, or with the plan, it's a monthly plan. They'll get 4 weeks worth of meal plans, and there will be one grocery list for each week. So it'll be all detailed into what meats they need, what produce they need, what refrigerated items. I've got it all separated out so that it's really easy for them to navigate the grocery store and be able to have everything all in one spot. And then they buy the groceries, and then I have a list of each meal, so they can either do it all on Sunday if they want to do it that way, or they can prepare one meal each night.
that is so awesome. That takes so much of the stress out of it, that for me especially, I am not a big fan of cooking, and my man knows that. Luckily he does most of the cooking. But that is so awesome, because you could just take that piece of paper, go to the store, and that you come home and you have the recipes for all those meals. And I think that is just wonderful. I think that's a great idea. So what inspires you and what are you passionate about? Because I want to learn more about you, not just your business. So I'm just a couple questions for you. So what inspires you?
I personally, I'm very inspired by health and wellness. It's something that I am very passionate about. After 20 years in the Army, I've had to keep myself in shape and healthy, and trying to set a good example for my daughter. That's very important to me. So it's something that I've always strived to stay healthy and in shape, and just keep up with that and different dietary stuff that is good and bad.
And that's great because, without your health, you don't have anything.
No.
Your quality of life depends on your health. And that's wonderful. So I'm guessing the meals that you create are in the healthy category. It's not.
They are. They're all really healthy. I've done the keto diet. I've done low carb diet. So I'm very familiar with those, and it makes it a little easier for me to plan out those kind of meals for people. But they are all fairly healthy, decent meals. They're like, one of my favorite things to do is use zucchini in place of spaghetti. So like if I have somebody that says they're trying to lose weight, I will put together a plan like that specifically for that person. Where if it's somebody who just wants ease, then I'll use the spaghetti instead of the zucchini.
Got you. Well, and I heard zucchini noodles are wonderful. So who inspires you?
Oh, I am inspired by a lot of people, but one of the people who inspires me the most is my mother. My mom raised us 3 girls while working full-time on a horse farm. And I think that may be part of what led me to my love for cooking, because she was always out in the barn and didn't have time to make us meals. So it was always what we called catch as catch can. And it was whatever we had in our pantry is what you could make out of it is what you got to eat. So I kind of became the cook in the family. Now my mom can cook. She can cook really, really well. She just didn't have time when we were kids. So kind of taught me how to cook and how to love cooking.
Awesome. Well, having a farm, it's a full-time job by itself, but you never would have thought when you're a kid and searching for stuff in the pantry that now you would help people, help people with their monthly dinners and everything like that. I think that's, it's funny how the world turns and how that kind of stuff happens. That's funny.
Yes,
So if you could leave one tip or one golden nugget for the people that are listening, and it's the only message that you could give them and the only chance you had to say it, what would it be? I know it's a big question.
It's a very big question. Don't let your dreams go. Like, don't let it pass by. Chase your dreams. Do what it takes. I'm 37 years old and finally living one of my biggest dreams, to have my own business. And it's totally possible in spite of being in the middle of a pandemic. There's ways around everything. You can always figure out a way to do it, and just don't let it pass you by. Do what you love so that you're not miserable.
I love that. And it shouldn't matter what age you are. Yeah, because sometimes we don't have a choice to do it, in the middle of our lives, but you never give up on that. That's awesome. And that's what, sets our heart free, is to actually do something, that inspires us. So is there anything that you have to give away for our listeners that, maybe a trial or something like that, so people could check out your recipes? And
I do. I would offer them a taster of my menu service, and offer them a 2-week free meal prep menu so that they can give it a try and see what they think.
I think that's awesome. So where would they go for that, to sign up for the free 2-week and to check things out?
They would go to my website's 2 Forkin, Forkin, easy onlythenspired.com/taster. TASTER.
That's awesome. And so, yeah, the taster, they get a little taste of what you're doing and the little taste of what you're doing. And I love that. That's awesome. So is there anything else that you would like to talk about today?
I mean,
Oh, no.
I don't know. No, I think really, just really excited about this business opportunity, and I can't thank you enough for having me on here to do the interview with you and talk to you about the business. I really appreciate that.
And I'm definitely going to sign up because, like I said, everybody's kind of being forced to stay at home and cook a lot more. And then, when you're limited and you have, 5 different things that you have all month, you might vary them a little. I could use a little variety in my cooking, in my shopping. And I absolutely love that you do the shopping list because that's, you forget things when you're, when you have a recipe and if you don't have it with you at the store. And so just having that all planned out, I think that is just a tremendous gift that you're giving to people.
Thank you. And I'm working on making it so that it's mobile friendly so that people can have it right there on their phones too, so that they don't have to take the paper with them. Because I know I always leave my grocery list sitting on the counter. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. So I started having to put my grocery list in my notes on my phone, and being able to have a way to not have to do that will be nice for people, I think.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, that's exactly where I have my shopping list. So as I run out of something, I put it on the little notes thing under shopping list so I don't forget, because you always have your phone. Yeah, you always have your phone. So that would be tremendous if that was mobile. But anyways, well, thank you so much, Lindsay, for being here. And I think you have a great service. And there's your little munchkin. Hi. So I look forward to, sharing this with everybody. And again, the website is the number 2, FORKINEASY.com/taster. And that she's going to give a 2-week taster, a 2-week meal plan with the shopping list and everything. So you can check her out. And, she's got just incredible monthly deals, a monthly subscription for $45. But so you get to check that out before you would ever sign up. But thank you again so much, Lindsay, for being here. And thank you for being in the military because, we're all free because of people like you. And some of us are wimps. And I'm a scaredy cat, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
No problem. All right. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys next time. Okay. Isn't that a great idea? I absolutely love what Lindsay's doing because some of us just really don't enjoy cooking or grocery shopping, and her just making that so much easier by giving you not only the recipes for the whole week, but actually the shopping list in sectioning out that into what's in the refrigerated aisle, what's in the fruits and vegetables aisle, and all that kind of stuff. I think that's super helpful. And would be a huge time saver. Wouldn't that be nice to only do the food prep 1 day a week, and then all you have to do is take it out of the fridge, warm it up, bake it, whatever you need to do. I love that. Very, very cool. Lachelle says, yes, love our military. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Yes. So we had 2 soldiers on today, which is just awesome. And, that is a place that I know that I wouldn't have the courage to do whatsoever. And so, I'm very, very grateful that people like Lindsay and Jim have that courage to do that. So there's, I want to talk about, we have a couple more guests coming up tomorrow, and I'm super excited about those interviews. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of homework and then want to invite you to actually go into the Facebook group, into one of the rooms, and we can actually talk about some of the stuff and face to face, which is super awesome. Instead of me just talking to you guys on a live, we can actually talk in a group, which is great. So tomorrow on day 7, we have the beautiful Mega Armis, and she is a healer on many levels. She's intuitive. She has a healing center in, I think it's Arizona. And she just has tons of different modalities that she helps people with, and love her story. You're actually absolutely going to love that interview. And then we also have Miss Jennifer Wilcox, which she has created this nonprofit, and she's coming from such a beautiful place. So she created a nonprofit that helps women get out of the system, people who have been on welfare and been in that system for a long time, and they don't have the skills. And so her nonprofit actually teaches and trains women to get off the system and helps them with their interview process, helps them look for jobs, helps them actually become self-sufficient to where they can get off of the system. And I love what she's doing. And there's a lot of people like that where they feel like they're stuck. I don't have any skills. I don't know what to do. I'm broke. And so she is actually taking it upon herself to create this nonprofit. So I can't wait till you get to hear that interview also. So, I want to share. So I mentioned lots of times about my number one character strength as being love of learning. So I want to share a tool with you. I believe in true heartfelt understanding, whether that's of yourself or of your partner or your kids. A lot of times when we're looking for our passion, it's easier if we see on paper actually what our skills are, and it might surprise you. So I wanted to share a couple things with you. So there's a free quiz. If you go to viacharacter.org, you could take this character test, and it basically ranks 24 different character strengths that everybody has, but it ranks it in order of what what your answers were. And in it, so Todd and I, normally I have this on the back wall over here. We put this up on the wall. That might be too close. We put this up on the wall because we read it and it makes you feel amazing about yourself. And so this is mine. So my number one character strength is love of learning, no doubt, and you could, yes. Thank you, Lachelle. You could tell just because I want to create a coaching platform that's all about learning, right? And then perspective, fairness, social intelligence, forgiveness, spirituality. So if you look at my character strengths, no doubt that I'm a coach, right? No doubt that I love people. And so I love it. And I would like to, one of my thoughts would be to have people actually take this quiz and create some sort of artwork. I am not much of an artist, but to have their character strengths actually framed or something like that in their house where people get to read it, and whether that be your kids, I think it would be amazing. And so the VIA character strengths test, kids can take that are 13 and older. And when you go on there, after you get your results, if you scroll to the bottom, on the left-hand side, there is a little print button. It's very small, but it'll actually print all of the descriptions of your character strengths. So I just wanted to show you mine. So forgiveness, spirituality, appreciation of beauty and excellence, curiosity, creativity, and hope. And just to show you how different Todd's is, and Todd, he's been a manager forever. He is an incredible leader, and his is totally different. So we have some of the same ones in our top 10. So honesty, curiosity, perspective, leadership, judgment. And so I highly encourage you guys to actually take this test. Like I said, it's free. You can buy a report, but if you were to put this up and read it every morning, and you just go, yay, I am awesome. And it might give you a little direction into what you want to do for a living. So I highly encourage that. And then what else? So is something, all right. What is something you've always wanted to do, but you let fear stop you? So that's the question I want to invite you guys to talk about. Let's talk about your fears. Let's talk about what's holding you back. Let's go into the Facebook group and actually join one of those little rooms. I'm excited to try that. Join the room and let's have a conversation face to face, virtually, right? But anyways, join us tomorrow for sure. We have those two amazing coaches, Mega Armies and Jennifer Wilcox, that has that beautiful nonprofit. So I highly encourage you guys to stay tuned tomorrow, and we will talk to you later. Make sure you share and invite people to the group. These coaches have just amazing value, and please share the message, share their word, because they could trigger somebody into doing something. That is my goal. I want to trigger people to be inspired, to move towards something that lights them up on an everyday basis. And sometimes that's a process of getting out of your job and starting something else. Or you could absolutely love your job, but need to work on some personal skills, fear skills, self-image skills, anything like that. So the coaches are here. They do amazing stuff. Lachelle, she said, I am also a love of learning, #1 character strength. Yes, and that does not surprise me. You and I are very similar. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Meet me in the group, and I will see you there in a few minutes.